welcome back to the channel. Today, we are tackling a very iconic anime based on a Middle Eastern folktale, Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic. Magi was created by Shinobu Otaka. It centers on a fantastical world inspired by the tales of the Arabian Nights, and follows young Aladdin, a mysterious boy who can summon a jinn named Ugo, along with his friends Alibaba and Morgiana, as they explore mystical dungeons and shape the fate of the world. We'll get into this later, but before we get any further, make sure to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you never miss another update. Now without further ado, let's get it. Magi the Labyrinth of Magic was created by Shinobu Otaka. The manga was first published by Shogakukan in Weekly Shonen Sunday starting on June 3rd, 2009 and continued until October 11th, 2017. The anime adaptation was produced by A1 Pictures and first aired in Japan on October 7th, 2012 on MBS until March 31st, 2013, consisting of 6 arcs totaling 25 episodes in its first season. So, let's get into the story. One day in the desert, enter Aladdin. He's this tiny dude who carries a flute with major drip. Why? Because it's got a giant djinn inside named Ugo. Aladdin's biggest wish in life? Make some solid friends. He's lonely. So one day, Aladdin strolls into this desert spot, Kishan. He's hungry, like I could eat an entire camel hungry. So he helps himself to a bunch of food from a cart. The cart belongs to Alibaba, our second main hero. Alibaba is like, yo, I'm trying to secure the bag by conquering dungeons and nabbing treasures in metal vessels. Metal vessels are items which contain jinn, giving the users insane powers. He sees Aladdin eat up his cart snacks and is about to crash out, but then he notices Aladdin's flute could summon a monstrous jinn named Ugo. Alibaba's like, W in the chat, I'm about to use this kid to get that sweet dungeon loot. But guess what? Our boy's got 0 skills. He can't smooth talk Aladdin into helping him. Then, Alibaba gets real in his feelings. He basically says, look, I'm feeling hopeless, I got no money, and my life's cooked. Aladdin's like, bet, I'll be your friend if you quit being so down bad. Boom, friendship secured, no L's here, and at least for now. Alibaba and Aladdin charge into a dungeon with no hesitation. These dungeons are like big weird mazes, filled with traps, monsters, and major boss vibes. Every time Aladdin calls Ugo, he basically uses up all his energy. So the kid passes out like he's had 10 hours of Fortnite straight. They also got this creeper named Jamil, tailing them with 2 slaves, Morgiana and Goltis. Jamil's like, serve me peasants, but Alibaba's not having it. He and Aladdin ditch the loser and make it to the dungeon's final chamber. They meet Aman, a djinn who's like, hey Aladdin, you're a Magi, super special. You pick kings apparently. Jamil begs Aman for power, but L in the chat for Jamil because the dungeon starts collapsing and Goltis basically drags him to a joint demise. Our squad gets split. Morgiana lands somewhere random, Aladdin ends up in the middle of nowhere, and Alibaba pops out near the city with brand new treasure and Amon's power and a sword, giving him a metal vessel. Everyone's like, W in the chat for Alibaba! But Alibaba's worried about his bestie, Aladdin. Meanwhile, Morgiana, she's a whole vibe. She's from a warrior tribe called Thanalis, meaning she can punch a boulder into next week. She's trying to go to Balbadd to catch a boat back home, but then she runs into bandits who basically try to enslave her again. Bro, these dudes messed with the wrong lady. Morgiana breaks free, rescues a sick kid, and says, nah, you're not feeding a child to your evil pets today. She meets Aladdin, he also gets captured, he's like a magnet for trouble, and they handle business. Morgiana is now besties with Aladdin, and they hop on a caravan to Balbadd to find Alibaba. Big W. As soon as Aladdin and Morgiana hit Balbadd, guess who they find robbed and naked in the street? King Sinbad of Sindria, who's basically a legendary hero with 7 djinns. Man's got that aura. He's all, I just got jumped, everything's stolen. No big deal, let's go get my stuff back. Sinbad wants Balbadd to open trade with his kingdom. Problem is, a group called the Fog Troop is messing stuff up, and their new leader is Alibaba? Everyone's jaw hits the floor. Bro, Alibaba turned bandit. Turns out, Alibaba's beefing with Balbadd's janky king, his own half-brother, Ahmad, who's basically about to sell the whole country to the Ko Empire. Alibaba tries to fix things with some epic theft schemes, but runs into Aladdin and Morgiana. He dips, leaving them clueless. Next, Morgiana kidnaps him for a chat, so Alibaba spills a story. He grew up poor in the slums with his boy Kasim, then out of nowhere he found out he's the king's son. But he messed up and the king died. The new king is big trash, and he's about to sell the people as slaves to pay off debts. Kasim's super bitter, so he forms the Fog Troop to rebel, and Alibaba's torn between saving lives and taking down the monarchy. Sinbad's like, we gotta talk to the king, but the monarchy's ignoring them and planning to sign away Balbadd. There's also a shady Magi named Udar. Bro's pure evil. He picks a fight with Aladdin and nearly kills him, but Ugo sacrifices himself. That's right, Aladdin loses his big flute friend. Everyone's like, no, that's an L! While Aladdin is basically in a coma, Bro's energy is completely wiped, Balbadd spirals. Kasim and his homies are about to crash out on the royal family, but Alibaba tries to keep the peace by telling the entire city, let's ditch the monarchy, we'll do a new system where everyone gets a voice. That's a huge W in theory, but Kasim is like, nah, I want revenge, and stabs himself with a dark metal vessel that turns him into a giant dark djinn. Bro is literally tweaking on black aura. It's cooked beyond measure. Luckily, Aladdin wakes up. He's got some wisdom of Solomon from a cosmic vision, so he shows up last minute to help Alibaba calm Kasim's dark vibes. Kasim reverts to normal, but dies from the damage. Thus, the city is saved, but Balbadd still becomes a puppet of the Ko Empire. R.I.P. Independence. Sinbad's like, alright kiddos, come to Sindria. You can train there and vibe with my crew of generals. Aladdin, Alibaba, and Morgiana bounce. They start grinding those skill points. Aladdin learns new magic from a new teacher who's super strict. Alibaba trains his sword skills with Shere Khan, who is basically a top tier swordsman. And Morgiana picks a special item called a household vessel. She crafts it from the same chains that once enslaved her. So that's savage, big W. Suddenly, more drama arrives. Hakuryu Ren, a prince from the Ko Empire, shows up with Kogyoku Ren, a princess who's salty at Sinbad for dishonoring her. Turns out, she got tricked by her sneaky advisor, took a big L, and is pissed off. Meanwhile, Hakuryu secretly wants to destroy his own empire from within because it's under Althamen's control, a mysterious shadowy organization whose goal is to cause chaos and darkness upon the world. Skipping ahead, Alibaba randomly starts feeling super sick. Turns out he got hit by some black rook back in Balbadd. The same black aura is also messing with Sinbad too, turning half of his body dark. Rook is the life energy that makes up the mystical powers in the universe, and black rook is tainted by hatred and evil. So everyone's like, that's no joke bro, you should get that checked. The only fix, however, is a djinn named Zagan in a newly discovered dungeon. But Sinbad can't go because he already has 7 djinn. Also, he doesn't want to crash out from the dark energy, so he sends Aladdin, Alibaba, Morgiana, and Hakuryu on a dungeon crawl. They get to the island and meet a scared little girl. She's like, Zagan captured my parents, please help! And guess what? They got sucked into Zagan's weird labyrinth. This place is basically a horror show. Mutant creatures, freaky illusions, and a weird sense of humor. Zagan's like, beat my trials if you want my power and to save the hostages. Challenge accepted. While they're inside, big news. The evil squad, Out the Men, invades Sindria. Sinbad's generals fight them off, but it's not easy. People are out here spamming magical attacks and giant monsters are creeping in. The barrier around Sindria is basically getting cooked and they barely manage to hold it together. In the dungeon, Aladdin, Alibaba, and company get jumped by Idnan, some Altamane baddie, and a princess turned dark djinn named Dunya, and she's out for blood. She used to be royalty from a place called Mustasim, destroyed by Magnestat wizards. She's big mad. The brawl is insane. Her djinn merges with Black Aura to get OP, Isaac, her knight, won't stay dead, and Idnan just stirs up a whole bunch of trouble. Alibaba tries to help Dunya see reason, but Idnan's like, nah, and basically kills her to push Alibaba over the edge. Alibaba then stabs her, gets infected by Black Rook, and almost turns into a dark djinn himself. Then, Aladdin pulls a major Uno reverse card. He uses the wisdom of Solomon to hop into Alibaba's mind, where a piece of Kasim's soul still lingers. Kasim is like, bro, don't crash out. We wanted to help people, remember? Alibaba listens, regains his chill, and all the black aura disappears. W in the chat for that. Ithnon's final shade tries to talk nonsense, but Aladdin basically says, return to the flow of Rook, my guy, and she dissolves. Bye, Felicia! Finally, the squad beats Zagan's trials, rescues the locals, and gains his power. Hakuryu even gets a new arm. Thanks, magic. Morgiana is safe, Aladdin is fully loaded with the wisdom of Solomon, and Alibaba is no longer cursed. In Sindria, Sinbad and his allies also managed to fend off Althamane's goons, thanks partly to some weird tricks Sinbad uses with his half-corrupted body. Basically, he's built different. At the end of the day, Aladdin and Alibaba promise they'll keep forging ahead. Aladdin wants Alibaba to be a real king vessel, guiding the world to a better place. Meanwhile, Altamane is still lurking, and the Co-Empire is feeling shady. But the squad's not about to crash out just yet. As they set their sights on their next adventure, Season 1 comes to a close. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to cast a spell on that subscribe button, hit like, and slap the bell notification icon so you never miss another video. Until next time, peace.